So hello everyone, welcome back. In the previous lecture, we discussed strings and how Python handles text data. Now we will move to another very important data structure in Python. Okay, so list. Lists are one of the most commonly used collections in Python programming. Whenever we want to store multiple values together, lists are usually the first choice. For example, um, if you want to store student names, marks, product details, number, any group of related data, we can use list. In today's lecture, we will learn what lists are, how to create lists, different types of list values, accessing elements, list operations, slicing, adding and removing elements, traversing list, passing list to functions. So let's start. So what a list? A list is an ordered mutable collection of items. Let's understand these three words. Ordered, okay. Mutable and collection. So ordered means elements maintain their position. Every element has an index. For example, you can see here numbers is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. The order is 1 comes first, 2 comes second, 3 comes third, 4th comes fourth. Okay, Python remembers this order. What do you mean by mutable? Mutable means we can change the content after creating the list. This is the main difference between strings and list. Okay, so now we are taking this only as an example. So we can change number square bracket 0 into is equal to 100. Now the list becomes in the place of 0 we will now get as 100. Okay, so the new list becomes 100 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. Okay, the original list is modified. Okay, so collection. What is collection? A list can store multiple items together. Instead of creating separate variables, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, c is equal to 3, d is equal to 4, we can store everything in one list. Okay, so why do we use list? Lists are useful because they allow us to store related items together. For example, student marks list, marks is equal to, like, you can imagine 20, 30, 90, 87. A list allows us to store data, access values easily, update values, perform operation. Okay, so string versus list. Let's compare strings and list. Strings are also sequences. Example, Python. Python contains characters, but strings are immutable. That means we cannot change individual characters. Example, text is equal to Python. Just wait. Okay, just wait. Text is equal to Python. We cannot do text 0 is equal to j. Python will give an error. Lists are different. Example, just you can see here numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. We can change number 0 is equal to 10. Now the output will return as 10, 2, 3, 4. So the main difference is string is a sequence of characters and are immutable. List are a collection of objects and they are mutable. Okay, so have a look on this page, and if you guys have any doubt you can comment down. Okay, so creating list. Creating a list in Python is very simple. We use square brackets. Example, here you can see, just wait. Different types of list values. One important feature of Python list is that they can store different types of data. A list can contain integers, example 1 to 3, floating point numbers, strings, boolean values, mixed data types. Okay, so let me tell you. Okay, so mixed data types. Python list can contain different types together. For example, you can see here heterogeneous elements. Here we have integer, string, float, boolean. This is called a heterogeneous list. Okay, so empty list. We can create an empty list. For example, here you can see it's an empty list. Okay, this list currently has no elements. Empty lists are very useful when collecting results. For example, during a loop, we can keep adding new values into an empty list. Okay, the third one is nested list. A list can also contain another list. Example, you can see here the second element it is itself a list. Such lists are called nested list. We will discuss them in detail in the next lecture. Okay, so not next lecture, I mean to say next slide. Okay, accessing list elements. Like strings, list use indexing. Python uses zero-based indexing. Example here you can see fruits is equal to apple, banana, cherry. Okay, so the indexes are 0, 1, 2. So if we will write fruit 0, it will print apple. Okay, so this is called positive indexing. Okay, to access the first element, if we will write for, fruit 0, then it will print apple. If we will write fruits 1, then it will print banana. Okay, that's all. Now negative indexing. Okay, list also support negative indexing. The last element is -1, -2, -3, like this we do. Okay, so if we will write fruit -1, so then it will print cherry. Okay, if we will do write fruits -2, then it will print banana. Negative indexing is useful when working from the end of a list. Okay, so now have a look. Okay, Okay, so finding the length of list. To find the number of elements in a list, we use len. Okay, so for example, wait here. Okay, here we can see the code. So if we will print this, then the output will return us 3 because the length tell us how many elements are present. So here you can see 3 elements are present. So the output will return us as 3. Okay, so membership operators. Python provides in and not in. Okay, here you can see. So to check whether an element exists. Okay, for example, as you can see in the previous. Okay, here. Okay, fruits is equal to apple, banana, cherry. So if I will write apples in fruits, so it will return us true because apple is present in list, है ना? In fruits. Okay, so it will return us true because apple exists. But if we write mango in fruits, it will return us false because mango is not present. So that's the reason. Okay, so now let's understand common list operations. The main operations are concatenation, repetition, updating values. So list concatenation. Concatenation means joining two lists. We use this, okay? Not this. It means yes, we use concatenation. Mm, Here you can see that it merge list into a new list. Here is the example you guys can see. Okay, so we use this for repetition. Okay, this doesn't mean we are multiplying it. Okay, we are just repeating elements. Okay, so if there just here you can see there is 0, we want to repeat it 3 times, so that's the output. Okay, this is useful when we need to create a list with repeated values. Okay, so lists are mutable. We can update elements. Okay, so lists are mutable. We can do like this. If we want to update, we can update it by like this. Okay, so wait. Okay, so if you guys want to write this in your notebook for notes, so you guys can write. Okay, so now we are just like strings, list support slicing. Okay, the syntax is list, start, stop, and step. Okay, here you guys can see slicing creates a new list containing selected elements. So start. Okay, so numbers is equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Just take it as an example. Numbers 1 colon 4. So index selected 1, 2, 3 because the stop index is not included. Okay, and step decides how many positions we move. So if there is a question like colon colon 2 means take every second element. Okay, so just like that we need to do now. Just wait. Okay, so reverse a list using slicing. Okay, so negative step reverse the list. For example, like numbers colon colon minus 1. So the output will return elements in reverse order. Okay, so have a look on this PPT. Okay, so moving on to the next part. Okay, deleting list elements. Sometimes we need to remove elements. Python provides different methods. They are del, remove, pop. Okay, del statement. Del removes an element using its index. Example, for example, numbers 10, 20, 30, del number 1. So now it will be 10 and 30 because the element at index 1 is deleted. Okay, I hope you guys have understood this. It's very easy, okay? You guys know that deleting means delete. So it will remove an element using its index. Okay. Okay, now remove. Remove deletes an element by value. Okay. For example, just you can see here example list dot remove 3. Okay, so it removes the first occurrence of 3. and and also it's very important to note that if the value does not exist, Python gives value error. Okay. Okay, so now pop removes and returns an element. For example, you have seen here list.pop. By default it removes the last element. We can also provide an index. Example like list.pop 0, it means it will remove the first element. Okay, so you guys want to note it in your notebook, then you guys can note this notes. It will be very helpful for you. Okay, so moving on to the next part, traversing list. Traversal means visiting each element one by one. The most common way is using a for loop. Okay, for x in numbers print process x. For x in list process x, each element is processed one by one. Okay, so least comprehensions. Python provides a shorter way to create list. It is called list comprehension. We write like this: for x in list if condition concise and often faster. It is useful when we want to create a new list based on existing values. So enumerate function. Sometimes we need both index and value. For this, we use enumerate. For example, I, comma v in enumerate list. Okay, so now we get I as the position, value as the element. Okay, so if you guys want to write down in a notebook, you can. So list as functions parameters we will do now. Okay, here list can be also be passed into functions. Example here you can say define append 0 a a dot append 0. Now if we pass list is equal to 1 append 0 list, the original list becomes 1 comma 0. Here you can see the example. Why? Because lists are mutable objects. The function receives a reference to the same list. Okay, for avoiding side effects, sometimes modifying the original list is not desired. In that case, we pass a copy. Example, here you can see, yes, here list colon creates a new list. The original list remains unchanged. Okay, so now let's discuss some practice questions. Okay, you guys have to do it by yourself. I will just give you the idea how you guys will do. Okay, so I'll tell you one question, then you guys will do, then we'll continue like this. Okay, so number one, find maximum element in a list without using maximum. So here you have to do compare elements one by one using a loop. And the second question, so in the second question, we have to remove duplicates while preserving order. So in here you have to create a program that removes repeated values while maintaining order. Okay, first you guys do this two questions, then we'll continue further. Okay, so the third question, compute the sum of list elements, implement sum manually. Okay, so here you have to implement addition of all list elements manually. Do not use the built-in sum function. And in the fourth question, you have to search for an element and return its index or -1 if not found. So here you have to search for an element in a list, return index if found, -1 if not found. So you guys first do these four questions, then I'll continue. Okay, so I hope you guys have done all this question. So in today's lecture, we learned what lists are, audit and mutable nature of list, creating lists, different list values, accessing elements, length and membership, list operations, updating values, slicing, deleting elements, traversing list, list comprehensions, passing list into functions. Lists are one of the most important data structures in Python. They allow us to store and manipulate collections of data efficiently. In the next lecture, we will learn about nested lists and tuples.